All right, 49er fans, we got a lot of updates out of practice today. Obviously, the biggest one being the return of Ricky Pearsall to the practice field. Man, do you believe in miracles? A little bit. A little bit. Shout out to Ricky on his return. Can't wait to get into that a little bit more. Obviously, we got to decide. And what the 49ers need to figure out is if he will actually be playing, making his NFL debut against the Chiefs. But also, on top of that, we got a lot of other practice updates. Malik Mustafa, Charvarius Ward, Jordan Elliott. We got a bunch of guys to talk about. Jordan Mason being at the top of the list of what we expect their availability to be like against the Chiefs. So we're going to talk about all those things. Right now, you guys already know what to do, though. Drop an SDS in the chat, smash that like button, and let's get into it all right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. First of all, shout out to all the SDS dropping in to the building. Good to see all of you guys as we get prepared, get ready to go for a big week of San Francisco 49ers football. It's Chiefs week, baby. And you know what that means. You got a little bit of PTSD sprinkled in there. You got a little bit of everything. But we got some good news to talk about. And let's talk about that right now, shall we? So the big news of the day is Ricky Pearsall has been cleared to return to practice. So his practice window has been opened, which means we got to see Ricky Pearsall out on a practice field for the first time since he was shot, which is just absolutely crazy. Um, and the fact that not only he survived, but he gets to play football this year is great. And obviously, we just got to see if that will actually be against the Chiefs. He doesn't necessarily have to be fully activated, from my understanding. He had the 49ers have 21 days to activate him to the final 53. Obviously, when they do that, they're going to have to make some roster moves, but we're still waiting and seeing. But he does have his practice window open. So the 49ers now have 21 days to determine when he will be back. So it's not a guarantee that Ricky will play against the Chiefs. However, I think it would be phenomenal vibes and energy to get him up and get him going, because honestly, we already know this situation with the Chiefs. It feels more mental than anything else. The 49ers in the Kyle Shanahan era, obviously, we know the history. I don't need to bring it back up. But to me, I'm looking at some of the struggles that they've had. It's more emotional, right? And I feel like if you get Ricky Pearsall out there, get him in his pads and jersey for the first time, maybe get him a return or something like that. It would just be such a huge juice and jolt to all of it. I think he would really not only get the crowd hyped up, but I think the players would really respond to it. I think it would be nice. But again, the 49ers do have to make a corresponding move if they make him active. So that could be one of the reasons why they're not just ready yet. And obviously, it's his first week back at practice. But nonetheless, still phenomenal news that Ricky Pearsall has returned. Good to see Ricky out there. Just really an inspiring story. What he's had to overcome to be back on that field. But a lot of people wanting to know what is going down with Jordan Mason. Obviously, Jordan Mason exited the game against the Seattle Seahawks. He did not return to action. And unfortunately, we're a little nervous, right? Because you have Isaac Guerrero behind him, Patrick Taylor, some unknowns in that regard. And the 49ers have just relied so heavily on Jordan Mason since Christian McCaffrey had gone down. We kind of didn't know what to expect in that Seattle game, especially when it was close and how the other running backs are going to respond. But sure enough, Isaac Guerrero had a huge run at the end of the game. Obviously, he slid or was tackled, whatever. I don't have a preference of what your determination was, but we had some funny back and forth with that, telling Madden not to lower his speed rating and stuff like that. So I think he proved. I really do think Patrick Taylor proved he has good vision and is a tough runner. So if Patrick Taylor was to get more reps and snaps, I would actually be okay with that. I think Patrick Taylor is an underrated back, and I do think if he was to be given carries, I think he would do well with them. So Guerrero, Taylor, I think they proved to be solid depth. Obviously, you want Jordan Mason back. So his status today in practice was he was participating, but he was wearing a blue non-contact jersey. So he was practicing. He was with the rest of the gang, just wearing the blue non-contact. So I would say that's a trend in the right direction. I would say that it is phenomenal. It is fantastic that he is actually he's practicing. And again, he's not off to the side. He's practicing. Blue non-contact jersey, okay. Don't touch JP Mason. But on a bonus practice on a Monday, the fact that you're getting Jordan Mason out there, I think that's a phenomenal sign for his trending development to being available against the Chiefs. Obviously, they will get back to their regular practice schedule of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Those practices and his participation will help determine his availability for that game. And obviously, if we see the 49ers make any roster moves at running back or anything like that, we'll have a better indication. But the fact that he is practicing, wearing the blue non-contact, in my opinion, is a good sign. And if you think it's a good sign, smash that like button as well. OG Manny says, Brad, just because it is what it is, I will download TickPick. You are the shiznit when it comes to the Niner Empire content. Shout out to OG Manny and shout out to TickPick for sponsoring this live show. Again, I'm imagining if you are in the vicinity of Levi Stadium and you're a 49er fan, there's probably a good chance you're going to try to get to this game against the Chiefs. So make sure if you're going, you tap in with TickPick, no hidden fees, best prices out of anyone out there. The price you see is the price you get. And then if you use the SF Niners promo code, you get an additional $25 off your ticket purchases. So, hey, best prices, additional 25 off when you use the promo code SF Niners. Seems like a pretty good deal. Make sure you tap in with TickPick, and shout out to OG Manny for tapping in with TickPick as well. I think this will be a conversation that we will have in the coming weeks, especially coming up to the trade deadline, is trade targets. Because as long as the San Francisco 49ers keep winning, that should have them as buyers at the deadline. And we're talking buyers with, I think, defensive line depth and potentially some other positions. But I do agree that this is an Aziz Ojulari. There was a time that did exist where the Aziz Ojulari hive was buzzing. So I wouldn't be mad at that either, especially if you want some speed off the edge. But I do think potential trades will be something that we will be talking about throughout the week and in the coming weeks. But let's get through our updates, shall we? We do have some updates with Charvarius Ward. So we do know Charvarius Ward didn't play against the Seattle Seahawks. He came out pre-game. He tested the knee, wasn't good. They decided to rest him for that particular game. So the fact that he is participating in this practice is a good sign. So Charvarius Ward back at practice, and hey, man, you talk about needing all the juice you can get. You have Charvarius Ward against his former team. Obviously, it's been a couple years, but still, I'm sure that's a little bit of an energy boost for him. And getting Charvarius Ward back with Diamador Lenore, hopefully a little bit more Renardo Green. Renardo Green is a dog, man. What a dog. You guys know I was a huge Renardo Green fan pre-draft. He was someone that I identified as a sleeper that the 49ers should. They did, and you have seen how Renardo Green has stepped in and been a phenomenal player. So I don't think you should keep Green off the field. I actually think you should play Green more. And if you play Green with Ward, with Diamador, I think that presents a good situation for a rookie. So we'll see with that. But obviously, Charvarius was one that we were looking out for. Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles also returned to practice after missing a couple weeks. So you get some linebacker depth back. I know the 49ers linebacker depth has been a little shoddy up until this point, obviously, with Dre Greenlaw going down. But the other one that we were wanting to see was safety Malik Mustafa. So he was working off to the side today. So he was part of the rehab group. He wasn't practicing. So that's a guy that we are absolutely going to have our eyes on. We're going to have to pay attention to Malik Mustafa. I think Malik Mustafa has played exceptionally well for a rookie. He just played exceptionally well for an NFL player. For an NFL safety, screw the rookie title. He's just been playing well. And, I think that obviously you want him available for this game against the Chiefs if he can go. So this is definitely an injury that we're going to have to monitor throughout the week. We're going to have to see what his availability looks like. And obviously, if they will have to have George Odom back there, maybe Jalen Mahoney, or if, Malik's injury is more serious, they have to turn to someone on the free agent market, maybe like a Micah Hyde or something like that. So the 49ers, they're getting tested early with injury. We already know Talanoa Hufanga is on IR, so he'll be on IR for a minimum 3 more weeks. So I do imagine that they will have to be fluid with the safety position. Shout out to OG Manny becoming a member of the YouTube channel. Did bro go from Facebook to YouTube, or am I tripping? No, he's been on YouTube this whole time. I thought he dropped a Facebook comment and popped on over to YouTube. That would have been a real one. Still a real one for becoming a member, official YouTube member of the SDS. Appreciate you, OG Manny, dropping in there and coming through. You love to see it. Always love adding some members to the SDS YouTube gang. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate everyone else for tapping in, supporting the channel, engaging with the channel. We appreciate you more than you know. But you know what I appreciate? Not only do I appreciate the SDS, man, I appreciate the 49ers getting a win against the Seattle Seahawks. Me and my daughter traveled to Seattle to watch in person the San Francisco 49ers. Again, not a perfect performance, but a performance you needed. You needed to win that football game, and you needed to come out of that one with a W, and they did it. And just like that, they are back at the, which is honestly crazy, for how much, there's been hooting and hollering about the success of the 49ers. And, you know, we're still in first place. Oh my goodness. Well, you love to see this as well. Michael Carroll said, followed your sleeper bet this weekend and took home $80. So here's your cut. Keep them coming. Shout out, Michael. If you guys are new to the channel, we do our sleeper picks every Friday on Prediction Friday. So if you want to get your picks in for 49ers versus Chiefs, make sure you tap in on a Friday's live show. Sounds like Michael came home a winner. And shout out to Michael for spreading the love. We cashed on what was it? We had Kenneth Walker touchdown. We also had, who was it? Was it Kid? Oh yeah, it was Kittle birthday touchdown. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love it. Shout out to you guys. Glad to hear that you've been winning and doing all that good stuff. Manny says, thank you very much, bro. Been a Niner fan since 81. Invader, been a fan since 79. Cheyenne since 89. There we go. There we go. Love to see it. Love to see it. Oh, konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. I think unknown fact. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm Japanese. So, konnichiwa. So, arigatou gozaimasu. So appreciate you. I took Japanese for a couple years in high school. I'm not gonna lie, super rusty. I don't remember a whole lot, but I love that. Shout out to all you guys though, man. Yes, I am. I'm a quarter Japanese. I'm a quarter Japanese, baby. Ginger Japanese, man. Big old sumo wrestler right here, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Good times. Good times. The ginger Japanese beard, bro. We let the hair, bro. The hair became a little bit of a sensation, because this game against the Seattle Seahawks was the first game that I've ever worn my hair down. So you guys know I got the hair in the bun. This is typically the setup. But this game against the Seahawks, I needed to switch it up. Because we needed this one, man. We needed this one in the worst way. And so I was like, I'm gonna switch up the vibes. We're going long hair, don't care. We let the flow go. Shout out to my guy. We got a name for it. We called it Flowmentum. So I think we're gonna have to keep Flowmentum going into the Chiefs. So I think I'm gonna have to rock. The hair down versus the Chiefs this week. Keep the Flowmentum going because, yeah, man. Yeah, man. We need to keep the energy rolling, and if it means letting the flow go against the Chiefs, I'll do it. I'll do it. So we're gonna keep the Flowmentum going. All that good stuff. Make sure you join the Discord as well if you guys want to get into a Niner group chat. All that good stuff. Michael says Cowherd would take Mayfield, Dak, Lawrence, Daniels, Williams, Murray, Cousins, and Love before Purdy. Which ones are you taking? Literally, it's really hard to like get super upset at Colin Cowherd because Colin Cowherd is just a professional yapper. That's his job. His job is to yap. He's not a football knower. He's just a professional yapper. So it's like, is it really hard to get upset at Colin Cowherd for spinning a take that he knows is going to ruffle the feathers of a fan base and generate more talking points and more talking about, it's like the same thing with Nick Wright. Nick Wright qualified himself as not knowing football by his evaluation of Brock Purdy's touchdown to George Kittle in the corner of the end zone, where Brock Purdy goes opposite side hash to the corner pylon and fits it into a window about this big across the field. One of the most difficult throws to make for a quarterback, which only elite quarterbacks can make. And Nick Wright had the cojones on live air to say it was a better play by George Kittle than it was a better throw. And it was a phenomenal catch by George. Phenomenal drag swag. There we go. It was phenomenal on both levels. It was phenomenal by George. It was elite by George, and it was elite by Purdy. But for Nick Wright to say, well, that was just a better play by George Kittle on that qualifies you of who is saying it. That is the perfect definition of a guy who just moves the goalposts and is a professional yapper, because that throw right there is up there in one of Brock's best throws. It might not have the flash and the pizzazz of his, making a free rusher miss, getting out of the pocket while getting hit, throwing it. Like, it doesn't have all the the pomp and circumstance of like one of these crazy throws. But if you actually understand football fundamentally, you understand that making that throw from that placement at that angle with that coverage is an extremely difficult throw. Extremely difficult, high risk throw. High risk, because all it takes is the cornerback to identify it and be like, oh, and take one step north, and he's instantly in the passing lane, and that's a pick six. It's an extremely difficult throw. It's a high risk throw, and he put it only where George can get it in about a window this big, because George would have had to get his feet in bounds as well. So again, I have a hard time getting real upset at professional yappers for doing what they're paid to do. To yap. That's what Nick Wright, he's paid to be a contrarian. Guys like Colin Coward, he's paid to say these takes so that we talk about them and, get all hot and bothered. But at the end of the day, it's like, at a certain point, once you qualify who you're arguing with, you tend to not care as much. I get a lot of people arguing with me about Brock Purdy on Twitter, and I don't care because I don't trust their football opinions. I don't trust their abilities to evaluate. So therefore, I really don't feel the need to respond. I don't feel the need to go in depth and give my thoughts and give feedback of what I'm seeing versus what they're seeing. Because at the end of the day, I already know that they don't understand football. So I don't need to go to those extra depths and those extra levels to waste my time with people who I already don't think I see eye to eye with them on how to evaluate football. So it's very similar to these guys. These guys don't understand the intricacies of this game at its highest level. And I'm not sitting here saying that I know everything about football. I'm not sitting here saying I don't know a lot of things about scheme. That's not my expertise. I'm not a scheme guy. I'm more of a individual technique guy. Like, I can evaluate football in every position from that standpoint. I'm not going to be able to evaluate it from, well, this guy's running a cover 3 shell with the shifting into, a cover 2 look, base buzz. That's not my expertise. So, you know, for me, like, if someone's going to try to argue with me about things that I, one, fundamentally disagree with, but two, I've already disqualified you from having a football conversation with me, I'm not going to have a football conversation with you. It's it's that simple. Don't need to waste my time. Like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, okay, you disagree with me, I disagree with you. We shake hands, we move on, and we go on with our day. But if you want to continue to argue with me, I will continue to tell you that I'm not going to waste my time. And with this whole, it's a same process with these guys. Like, I don't even feel like I need to answer it because we already know a bunch of these guys aren't worthy. Lawrence is playing. I don't know what's going on with Lawrence. He was a generational prospect who's not living up to the billing. Jaden Daniels is phenomenal. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's not. Jaden Daniels, I would, I would consider. I love Purdy, but Jaden Daniels, it looks like he's going to be, uh, he's going to be a top 5 guy easy. Jaden Daniels, phenomenal. Kyler Murray, don't need him. Kirk Cousins, I'm okay. I'll take Purdy over him. Jordan Love, I think, has a lot of upside, but I'm still probably taking Purdy over Love at this particular point. Dak, throw him in the trash. I just get him off the Cowboys. Just get him off the Cowboys. He's gonna be awful as long as he's on the Cowboys. He needs a new team. He needs a fresh start. He needs to get off. He needs to get off that. Baker Mayfield, loved the story. I love what he's been able to do. I was a big Baker Mayfield fan of him coming out of OU, but I would still take Purdy over him. So the only real guys on this list that I would consider is Jaden Daniels. One, because he has youth, and two, he has elite arm talent. He has elite running skills. He's an elite quarterback in the making. I really do believe that. I was really unsure on Jaden Daniels. I didn't watch a lot of college football last year live. So I didn't have a strong opinion of Jaden Daniels because I didn't I didn't watch him until I started doing my pre-draft evaluations and I started looking into guys like Brian Thomas Jr. and I realized, like, oh, okay, Jaden Daniels he's really good. He's really good. And with what he's been able to do in the NFL up until this point, he's really good. Jaden Daniels is really good, and he's going to only get better and improve. So Jaden Daniels he's got the Washington Commanders feeling fantastic right now. So I would say the only one on this list that I would really consider over Purdy, and I probably still wouldn't at this current time, though, just because of where they are at their careers, um, is Daniels and Love. Other than that, oh, Williams is Caleb Williams. Uh, Caleb had a hell of a day on Sunday. So for me to consider, it would be Daniels, Williams, Love, everyone else, Purdy without question. But I would still take Purdy over Love. I would still take Purdy again, probably over most of these guys. If we're starting a dynasty league, um, if I'm starting a dynasty league, I did take Purdy over Jaden Daniels in a startup this year, so I put my money where my mouth is on that one. And Caleb went before Purdy in my startup, but I did take Purdy over Daniels. But I think Daniels and Williams are more physically gifted. But again, we've determined that's not all you need to be a top quarterback. So I think it's a really, really, really short list of quarterbacks that you would prefer to have over Brock Purdy right now. So I think a lot of that is just talking points. Professional yappers yapping. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I think the 49ers are in a good spot. I think with where they're currently at with health, I think Brock, I mean, you look at Brock's performance against the Seattle Seahawks. Beautiful. Phenomenal. He played so well. He played so well. And it's funny because he didn't play that much insanely different than he did against the Arizona Cardinals. Just a couple things fell. The ball bounced a couple ways differently. He really just a little bit more locked in against the Seahawks than he was, than how it turned out against the Cardinals. But it wasn't even that dramatic of a difference. It really wasn't. If you want to talk about Brock Purdy having a bad game, then you look at the Minnesota Vikings game. That was a bad game. But this game, these past 2 weeks, again, very he was a lot better, and continues to prove it. And now he's doing the thing with his legs. That's the evolution of Brock right now. Is he is now being able to manipulate the pocket even more so with his legs. I'm going to do a film breakdown in probably like 15 minutes. So if you guys want to be a part of that, I'm going to get off this live. I'm going to pull up the tape. We're going to do Brock Purdy tearing up Seattle. We're going to do offensive line having a good day. Pooney had some great blocks. Trent Williams had some great blocks. Felt like the offensive line really bounced back. So we're not going to just talk about it. I'm going to do the film breakdown because we haven't been able to do it up until this point. So in about 15 minutes, if you guys want it, we're going to be breaking down Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense versus Seattle. And I think we're going to be pretty happy with the things that we watch in that one. It was a fun, man. I was flying home from Seattle and just watching the tape, and I'm just like, oh, this feels great. Feels great breaking down some Purdy tape on the flight home, just watching him cook and just watching him go off, especially after all the BS that was said about him last week. It was even better. I was just like sitting there like laughing, like, look at Brock cook. Look at it. It's hilarious. I love it. It not only am I happy that Brock is having a good game and he played well, but I know deep down somewhere someone is crying internally because Brock had a good game. They don't feel good about it. They feel bad about it. They got to put on a brave face like, oh, Brock had a good game. And it brings a little bit of enjoyment because I know someone somewhere is watching Brock Purdy have a good game and like, oh, I wish he had a bad game. But it is what it is. So we're going to get into the tape. I'm going to say 3:30. Let's just do 3:30 film breakdown. I'm going to drop this stream down. I'm going to set the other stream. So we'll do 49ers offensive film breakdown versus Cardinals 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. So that's 15 minutes from now. So if you guys just want to hop on over, I'll see you in a bit. But I appreciate everyone as always for tapping in. Let's get into the film right after this. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see you.